People always tell me at the end of the group that they have a profound sense of peace and happiness that they'd never had before. And when I asked them what was the greatest benefit you got, these people who have just eliminated rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or Sjogren's tell me the greatest benefit was the happiness.
What about gratitude? Having that mindfulness of just being thankful for what it is, what we have presently. How can you just tie it all in together for us, Dr.
I think gratitude is what saved my life when I was sick. So gratitude is the key symptom of people who are happy or who are resistant to depression. People who are resistant to depression, the key symptom we see in people who are resistant to depression is gratitude. And I believe my obsession with gratitude and happiness my whole life is what allowed me to survive when I was sick and still eating an inflammatory diet and taking medication. You know, I talked about Selena Gomez. She's admitted that she has severe depression. So she got the same medical treatments I did and more, because all these years later, there's far more. And she still ended up with a kidney transplant. Now she's in a special kind of therapy for people with trauma. And people with autoimmune disease have much higher rates of trauma, really disrupts your cortisol, inflammatory markers, all those things. But when I got sick, you know, I was raised by, my mother is an immigrant that came here on a boat through Ellis Island. Her family were refugees from World War II. So they were starved and abused. Their families were murdered in Poland during the Holocaust. So I was raised with how freaking lucky I was, because I got to wake up every day free. You know, my grandparents had sixth and fourth grade educations. And when they came to America, they made sure their kids went to college. And then here I am, first generation born in America, and I was able to go past college, right? But even back when I was a kid, I was constantly raised with how lucky I was. And I really felt that. And my grandmother, who survived the war, was an extremely positive person because she was always in a state of mindfulness. She just naturally was always in the moment. And she always told me what a lucky girl she was. Who survives the Holocaust says how lucky they are. All every day. And she meant it. I'm a lucky girl. She said that until she was 99. She died at 99. I'm a lucky girl, right? So I have very much her personality, chatty and grateful. But she, you know, she really ingrained that in me. So even when I got sick, I still felt very grateful. I wasn't grateful for the illness, but I was still grateful for who I was. And I remember when I felt the worst, like I have a memory of laying in bed after getting chemotherapy. They kept raising the dose every month. They were trying to find that sweet spot, you know, and I'm laying in bed and I couldn't stop vomiting and I just felt so sick. And so, and I'd been crying and which is important too. You got to mourn. And I said, okay, I'm just going to think of everything that makes me grateful for being me. And I thought of everything I could think of, from my friends to my family to where I lived and all these different things. And I kept basically counting blessings, you know, until the point that I was crying, but from gratitude, because I would never change my life for anyone else's. And so I felt so lucky to be me lying there in bed recovering from chemo, and truly felt it in my heart. And so that was one of the key things that I still do to this day when I'm trying to help people recover their health, like in my group. We got 6 weeks to work together, but for the first few, you're not going to be feeling that good yet. We got some work to do, right? I mean, I have had people I had someone recently lupus free in 10 days, but most of them for the first couple of weeks, they got detox, they're too full, they're farting all the time, they're still in pain, you know, and so I do the emotional work from the beginning. And actually in my newest book, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, the majority of it is the emotional important, like the things you need to do emotionally to change your lifestyle, because the information's not enough for most people. The information's out there. So if you haven't done it yet, there's emotional reasons. So I work on gratitude and celebrating everything that goes well. When there's a struggle that comes up, we just make a game plan unemotionally. All right, this didn't work. Let's do this tomorrow. Done. We don't need to think about it anymore. Now tell me what you're grateful for. Tell me what's good, right? And so I train them to switch from a mindset of focusing on pain and suffering to dealing with pain and suffering, dealing with pain without suffering, because suffering is a choice. Pain is not always, but suffering is. So we deal with pain with logical game plans, and we put all of our emotions into gratitude and celebrations. And what happens is not only do their diseases go away, but people always tell me at the end of the group that they have a profound sense of peace and happiness that they'd never had before. And when I asked them what was the greatest benefit you got, These people who have just eliminated rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or Sjogren's tell me the greatest benefit was the happiness. That they now know how to live a life of happiness and without pain. But gratitude, yeah, it's key. And I think a lot of times people make their gratitude contingent on something. Like, I will be grateful and happy when I'm not in pain anymore, when I don't have a disease anymore, when I don't have this job anymore. But it doesn't work that way, right? You can't have your happiness be a contingency. You have to create it right now. Even if you're lying in bed unable to move, you have to find that place in your heart where you can be grateful. And that is going to not only make healing just a benefit, just, you know, something additional and wonderful in your life on top of what you're grateful for, but it'll accelerate your ability to heal.